time to go for a little for a little review, and I'm looking at this second part, chapter 2.3, technical analysis. And under the technical analysis chapter, you know that we've done the trend lines. And under the trend lines, one of the most important things to take into consideration when trading binary options on the short to medium term, you should be aware that unless the line of a trend, in the case of an upward trend, this is the uptrend line, or in the case of a downward trend, this is a downtrend line. So unless the line of a trend is broken, then you should look for that trend to continue and look for opportunities or for patterns within the move to the upside or to the downside for identifying opportunities in which you should engage in trading binary options. For example, in a possible uptrend to the upside, so until the main trend of the main trend line of the move to the upside is broken, then you should just be involved in buying calls or buying one-touch options for values upper than the values given by the trend line. Or in the case of a downtrend, you should look to buy puts for values lower than the ones given by the trend line. So what to keep in mind when you are trading based on trend lines, that a trend line is the line of a trend. Wait for the trend line to be broken until you will change the direction of your trading, and as long as the main line of the trend is not broken, the trend will keep going. So look to buy the proper binary options. So that would be calls for upward trends and puts for downward trends. Now, on the recordings that come with this technical analysis subchapter, you will see multiple recordings on dealing with trend lines. I showed you classical examples of on how to interpret this on the euro dollar, with specific places where to go long, where to go short, where to buy calls, where to buy puts, where to exercise a one touch option, and so on and so forth. So please feel free to watch those recordings too. Still on the trend lines, look for patterns above the trend line in the case of the upward trend, or look for patterns that are coming below the trend line in the case of downward trends. Patterns to look for are namely continuation patterns, and these are falling in the category of horizontal channels, triangles, mainly contracting triangles that should act as continuation patterns, wedges, and pennants. And there are some more, but these are the most important ones to be found. Moving forward with the technical analysis chapter, then we've done a lot of recordings and examples on the channel. This to be the second subchapter under the technical analysis. And with the channels, you have the possibility to have a channel, an upward channel, a downward channel, or a horizontal channel. Now, it is very important when you are dealing with channels and trying to find the proper place to buy an option, to measure the amplitude of the channel, to place the 50% line. The 50% line means, so you take a Fibonacci retracement tool, you measure the highs and the lows of the channel, and then you take a parallel line with the lines of the channel, and you put that line, you paste that line through the 50% retracement level of the channel. And then in a falling trend, you should buy calls. You should buy calls in the lower half of the channel for the upper part in a rising channel, and you should buy puts in the upper half of the channel for the lower part in a falling channel. Also in channels, buy one touch binary option for the 50% line when price is reaching the upper trend line of a falling channel. This is the main resistance. So once again, you should buy a one-touch binary option for the 50% line when price is reaching the upper trend line of a falling channel. Now you have to imagine a falling channel. The example given on this chapter is dealing with the Australian dollar, US dollar on the 4-hour chart. We have a huge downward channel that starts from the 105 area and goes well below the 0.90 we know now. And every time that the price was trying to move above the upper trend line of the falling channel, which is the main resistance of the channel, it fails. And normally we should try to buy one-touch binary options for the 50% line as being the target. Vice versa, or the opposite should be exactly true. We should buy one binary option we should buy one-touch binary options for the 50% line when price is reaching the lower trend line of a rising channel, which is in this case the main support. Now, after the trend lines and channels, still under the technical analysis chapter, I included the patterns, and under the patterns we will take a look at triangles, mainly contracting triangles, because expanding triangles are hard to find. So contracting triangles, we will look at how to deal with contracting triangles. We'll look at the measure move, at the thrust of the triangle, how to take time into consideration when you're dealing with binary options to trade contracting triangles. And still under the patterns chapter, we will going to take a look at rising and falling wedges. Now, rising and falling wedges are one of the most common patterns into the technical analysis field, and they are easy to understand, they are visible, and more importantly, they can be traded with binary options, that is on the short to medium term, and even on the very short term, in the case the wedge is going to be retested. So we'll have plenty of examples also with rising and falling wedges. We have a rising wedge on the US dollar Japanese yen pair, on the euro Japanese yen, and we'll study a euro US dollar 1-hour chart falling wedge, and we'll deal exactly with how to treat them, the rules to get into a one-touch option, the time till expiration, so on and so forth. So watch the recordings, please. They come with this chapter because they are extremely interesting. So moving on to the next recording, please.